In Vienna, Austria on Friday, author and journalist Ethan Gutmann held a press conference outside the Natural History Museum, which is holding the Body Worlds exhibit. Gutmann questioned whether some of the bodies in this exhibit may have belonged to Chinese political prisoners.
This is something unusual. We now have a show which is traveling around which may have the DNA of murdered prisoners of conscience. May.
The Body Worlds organizers say they are all from legitimate sources, Caucasians who gave their consent. But Gutmann is not so sure.
The frames are a little frail, the skulls are a little fine. I'm not an expert, but these look Chinese to me.
Body Worlds is on tour in Vienna this summer, and there are half a dozen others around the world, including this one in Times Square, New York. On display, plastinated bodies. The liquid and fat have been replaced with a type of plastic so the bodies can be preserved forever. The technology was developed by this man, German anatomist Gunther von Hagens. In 1999, von Hagens set up a plastination company in China.
Now, von Hagens complained that the Chinese don't donate their bodies. Well, maybe you could use the body of a homeless person. No, because Chinese regulations require that such a body be held in the morgue for 30 days. To plastinate a body, it must be fresh. But von Hagens had one thing going for him. He had the support and friendship of the mayor of Dalian. He even got a fancy award from this mayor in 1999. The mayor's name was Bo Xilai.
You might recognize him. By 2012, Bo Xilai had become a high-ranking communist official, known for both his charisma and his brutality. He was ousted amidst political infighting. But back in 1999, Bo Xilai was the mayor of Dalian, and that was the year the Chinese regime launched a deadly persecution of the Falun Gong spiritual practice. An estimated several million practitioners have been sent to labor camps and tens of thousands killed. Bo Xilai oversaw the persecution in Dalian at the time.
Liaoning province was one of the most deadly provinces for Falun Gong practitioners, particularly in the early part of the persecution from 1999 through the early 2000s. And as part of that, a lot of Falun Gong practitioners disappeared, a lot were killed. So that we do know. We also know that the Bodies exhibit opened up a plastination factory in Dalian and under Bo Xilai's leadership. And we also know that in China, people don't donate their bodies to this kind of thing. So those are the things we do know. You put those all together, and I think it raises a lot of question marks.
There's no proof that any of these bodies are from Falun Gong practitioners or other political prisoners, or even that they're Chinese. Recently, von Hagens says none of them are, and that he cremated any questionable Chinese bodies.
But there is a way to be sure. Test the DNA.
Gutmann wants von Hagens to give permission to an independent laboratory to collect small DNA samples from each of the bodies. This can be done without causing damage. DNA can show whether the person is Chinese. It can also prove family relationships.
If any samples are Chinese, we can match them over time with DNA from Chinese families who lost a loved one because they were Falun Gong.
There's also a competing exhibit that's similar. It's called Bodies the Exhibition. The bodies there were provided by von Hagens' rival and former colleague, Sui Hongjin. And Gutmann is hoping that if von Hagens provides DNA samples, that will put pressure on Sui.
Von Hagens can set the example. He knows that Sui's show is a travesty.
If competition plus clearing his name doesn't motivate von Hagens to allow the DNA to be tested, Gutmann may ask the courts for help.
Look, I said in the beginning that this is about one question. Who are these people? And the answer is, give us the DNA.
This is Matt Gnezda reporting for NTD in New York.